Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Origami Snowman. My name's Matt, and we're gonna. Oh no! I had a whole list, and it's over there. You can't see me pointing, but it's here. I'll point. I'll point with the arrow. It's over there. Blah! Anyway, I'm gonna get up and get it. Hang on 1 second. Just sit tight. Don't go anywhere. I'm walking over here to the thing in the kitchen. I gotta get it. It's here on the couch. I got it. I got it, you guys. I got it. I found it. Everything's gonna be fine back in my chair. Oh no. Oh, this and that. Okay. Everything's fine. I have to get my list. I'm talking about Disney princesses today. It needed a little drama. I know. Oh boy. Speaking of drama, that sucked. Yeah. I love actually talking about Disney princess. It's one of my favorite topics of conversation. Disney princesses. I have two daughters. One is 16, one is 14. And they all have friends. So I know, and I, have all the kids on my bus. I think now more than ever, it is important for us to have strong role models of all genders and of no genders. I'm going to talk about that in a different video. But I think it's so important to have characters that our kids can look up to. We hear a lot about like inclusion and about and about seeing yourself on the screen. Why something is as innocuous as a culturally appropriate hairstyle in a movie can really impact a kid, who maybe doesn't ever see himself as the hero, and finally gets the chance to, as a middle class, mid-American white guy, I have nothing but inclusion or representation on the screen. We get all of the heroes. It's absurd. And honestly, we're at a point now where anytime they make a character anything but a white male, it feels like they're trying to be intentional. And I'm guilty of it myself. In my first novel, The Blood Pines, available on Amazon, I made very sure not to include any descriptors, any adjectives about the character's, skin color or race or, I think I mentioned one character with blue eyes. Sorry. Because I had heard or I'd read a post about somebody saying that their son wanted to be able to see themselves in a book, but just couldn't, and I thought I don't want to prevent any kid from putting themselves in this story. Does that make sense? I hope so. I didn't go so far as to say, his skin is this color or his hair is this style or any of that. I just left it blank, hoping that the reader would fill it in. And, that hopefully is the case, but I also realize that's a little cowardly, that's a little bit trying to please everybody. And I don't mean to do that, but I did. And now looking back, I realize maybe that wasn't the best plan. Anyway, so Disney princesses, I think are pretty good at, covering some ground here. We do have a lot of racial diversity, and a lot of personality diversity also. However, that diversity didn't really come into play until the 90s when Aladdin kind of was in theaters. I don't, maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like Jasmine was the first princess of color in a Disney movie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody. But I want to say this is a 10 princess list. So I had to cut some people out, and I did cut some people of color out because I haven't seen their movies. Not that I haven't had the chance, I just haven't taken the time to do so. Spoiler alert, I am not the target demographic for these movies. I have not made it a priority to watch them. Sorry. So anyway, here's my list. And I'm telling you, I had to really I had to make a weird my calculations are strange. And in the end, I am sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm still fighting this stupid cough. In the end, I've come up with not even a ranking or a scale. They just get scores. And a lot of them have the same score, so a lot of them are ranked similarly. So anyway, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start at the top. I'll just start at the top. Okay, Snow White. She is sort of the quintessential classic Disney princess because she was the first. Her story, I'm just going to be real brief here, and I'm probably going to leave out some key points. And please correct me if I get something very, very wrong. I probably will because I'm dumb. But that's, it's fine. You can be dumb and still talk. Clearly, that is not a prohibitor in our culture. Snow White, her stepmother is very vain and wants that could have been close. Wants very much to be the most fair lady in the land, and finds out that she is not. That her very plain stepdaughter, Snow White, let's be honest, she's not a looker. She is the fairest one of all. And so she plots her death. Anyway, the woodsman has mercy, and Snow White ends up out in the woods alone. He doesn't kill her, he just sends her away. All right, that's the plight she faces. She is what I call a standard innocent victim. She is an innocent victim. She did nothing to provoke. She did nothing to bring about the plot of the story. She is merely an innocent victim. This story happened to her. Okay. Oh my gosh, how did I skip that hole? Let's ease this back. Let's get this done. There we go. Now, does she curl up in a ball and cry herself to sleep? No. Well, I think there may have been some of that, but she got over it. And she found a place. She found a nice little home. I'm so sorry. And she kind of came to terms with her situation. And she decided, look, these people are willing to take me in. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to help them. Okay, so she was put in a position, in a situation. She came up with a solution. Not a great one. Oh, nice shot. Well done. So she didn't do anything to get back at those who wronged her. She just sort of acted almost like she deserved what she got. You know what I mean? I don't know. Am I making sense here? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't really think anybody expects me to, but she does seem kind of like like an old dog who just is used to getting kicked and gets kicked off the couch and then goes into the other room and curls up on a rug, Like, it's just not really admirable, her take on her situation. Oh, man. So she's not terribly helpful in the situation. She doesn't solve the situation. She got a 2 on that. As a role model, I mean, I like that she made the most of an unpleasant situation. And so as a result, I gave her a 5. Oh my gosh. I gave her a 5 as a role model because there are going to be times in every person's life where they just have to, oh my word, make the most of an unpleasant situation. And so she, I think, she set a good example in that regard. But keep in mind, this is 5 out of 10. And her movie, which I don't remember seeing. I know the story. I know the movie. It's, and it's old and I'm not drawn to it. I gave it a 3. Just that 3 points is a buffer for my ignorance. There are a couple movies that got 3s for that same reason. Okay, Cinderella. So Snow White got a total of 10. Gonna be honest, that's pretty low. It is actually the lowest. Nope, not the lowest. Not the lowest. Okay, let's move on to Cinderella. Cinderella, she also gets a 3. She's she is an innocent victim. Her stepmother, boy, I tell you, Disney hates stepmoms. Her stepmother wants her own daughters to be, you know, the socialites and to have all the opportunities. But Cinderella is prettier, and so Cinderella's stepmother feels threatened on behalf of her daughters, so she kind of belittles her, mistreats her, and won't let her go to the ball, and blah, 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 blah. So she's all very, very sad, and her fairy godmother comes, and this is the thing. Cinderella, she sets a terrible example for little girls because she aims very low. She has a wish, and she wishes to go to the ball. And then she sees her fairy godmother do all of this magic. You know, she turns the mice into coachmen. She turns the pumpkin into a carriage. You know, she does all this stuff. I mean, it's alarming. This is of the devil, right? She could have aimed so much higher. She just wanted to go to a dance. She wanted to go to a pretty dance and meet a nice boy. Okay? I'm sorry. I would like my daughters to aspire to something a little bit higher than that. However, she does, you know, she's very kind to the animals, and they are kind to her in return. She crafts this beautiful dress, and, you know, when the time comes, she speaks up for herself. So she does, there are things that she does that affect her and do lean into the solution. We'll just say that, okay? She's also very bad at telling time. Let's not forget that. So she got a 3 for helpful. And also because she did take some action, I am giving her a 5 for role model, for being a role model. And she did speak up for herself. That's always a good thing. And again, her movie, also a 3. Because I just don't really remember it much. I just remember the mice and the beads from the necklace and it being very questionable. Oh my goodness. So, hang on one second. I'm so sorry. I'm a monster. I know. So Cinderella got an 11. Not much better than Snow White. All right. Let's move to Sleeping Beauty. Aurora. Boy, what a crap princess. The absolute pinnacle of damsel in distress, but she doesn't even know it because she sleeps through the whole thing. Absolute innocent victim. She does nothing to promote or to prevent her own situation. It's just a stupid situation, dumb movie. The villain is really the hero in all this because the villain is the only interesting part of the movie. And Aurora, is she helpful? No, she's not helpful. Not helpful at all. They collect and lock up all the spinning wheels in the kingdom, and she knows that she's not supposed to mess. And what does she do? She finds it and she blink. Oh no, my gosh. Not really her fault. She's just stupid. You know, you had one job, Aurora. Don't touch the pointy pokey thing. She gets a 1 for being helpful because she sleeps through the whole movie. I never saw the movie. Role model. You know what? Because sometimes the right answer is take a nap, she gets a 2. And then her movie, again, citing, you know, she gets bonus ignorant points because I don't really know. She gets a 3. And also because Maleficent is pretty cool. So, yeah, she gets a total of 6. That's the lowest score on here. Okay. Let's move on to Beauty and the Beast. Belle. Belle, is she helpful? Kind of. You know, she speaks up for herself. She starts to have a positive impact on the Beast, on Prince Adam. She is not a damsel. However, when the townsfolk come to upset her happy little life, she's pretty useless at that point. She doesn't do a whole lot in the end. It's the house people. It's the servants, as you know, pots and pans and a dresser and, you know, curtains and things like that. They're the ones who actually save the day. And then of course Adam when he, you know, fights Gaston. But can we be? Let's talk about that real quick. He's a beast. He is a monster. He is like part buffalo, part lion. He's like he should be untouchable. Gaston, he's a dude with a gun, and he almost wins. It's pretty pathetic. Anyway, so Belle, is she helpful? Yeah, she gets a 5. She's halfway helpful. Okay, I'm not gonna besmirch her completely, because up until the end she was doing a fine job until all the people got involved, which she could have probably Act 1. She could have told you that's how it was gonna go. As far as a role model goes, I give her an 8. For crying out loud. She speaks up for herself. She is her own person. She is, I think she's admirable. She's like, yeah, it's weird that I read, but I'm going to keep reading. I like to read. Get your boots off my table. I like her. Good for her. And the movie, I loved Beauty and the Beast. I thought it was absolutely terrific. Well done, Beauty. Well done, Beast. Good job. So that got a 9. Giving Belle a pretty beefy 22. All right, Ariel. If you guys have ever watched any of my videos where I talk about Disney princesses, then I think I've already talked about Disney princesses. Have I already done this list? Oh my gosh. It doesn't matter. I need content, so we're doing it. Ariel is not my favorite. I liked the movie until I thought about the movie, which is usually the case with me. Helpful. Is she helpful? She gets a 4. She is not an innocent victim. She did all this to herself. She opened the can of worms. She invited Ursula into her life. And can I just say, Ursula is kind of awesome. She is such an opportunistic villain. She didn't craft this plan. Ariel came to her and she goes, oh, my darling, very well. I guess we're doing this today. You gotta love her. So, Ariel gets a 4 because, yes, she got the ball rolling. And, she did take strides to improve her life. However, it wasn't for I want to save my people. It was, I want that hunka man. And that's never a good motivator. She does get a 4, though. Okay. Role model? She gets a 1. Terrible role model. She's boy crazy and she doesn't listen to her father. I cannot endorse that. And then the movie, I thought it was a 5. The movie gets a 5. The little moment at the end with the ships all in the whirlpool and they're coming up out of the water, I thought, that's pretty cool. That was, for crying out loud. That was neat. I like that. And again, Ursula, pretty cool. They stabbed her with a boat. All right, so she gets a 10. She's way down there with Snow White. Now, Jasmine in Aladdin. Let's say for being helpful, she, let's skip all the stuff. Again, not a damsel, or not a, no, I'm sorry, not an innocent victim. She is one of those, I didn't say this, but she's, oh crap. She's in the column called Worst Enemy, where really she made some bad decisions that impact the story, that influence the plot. She tried to run away at the beginning of the movie, right? Now, that in and of itself didn't have any negative consequences. She just met Aladdin and fell in love with him. Aladdin would have been captured by the guards anyway, because Jafar had... Jeez, little friggity wee... Oh my gosh, I just saw my stroke count. 45? Oh, 46? Golly, Jiminy's. Jasmine, yeah, she gets a 6 for being helpful because at the end of the movie, she does try to, trick Jafar when she sees Aladdin's reflection in his little crown. She tries to pretend that she's in love with him to get his attention away from Aladdin so that Aladdin can, I guess, fail some more. So yeah, I can give her, she did make an attempt. She was clever. And you know what? She's not going to stand by while other people decide her fate. I like that about her. So in that way, she was helpful and a decent role model. She got a 7. So far, she's our blah, blah, blah. I'm fine. Everything's fine. She's our. Oh wait, actually, she's at her second place after Belle. And the movie, I'm giving it a 9. I loved Aladdin. Robin Williams. I loved Robin Williams. I've talked about him. He's absolutely just one of my favorites ever. Yeah, not everything he did was a home run, but it was flips. It was a 9. Aladdin gets a 9. So Jasmine, you get a 22. You're tied for first place right now with Belle. Congratulations. Enjoy it while you can. Next is Mulan. Mulan holds the distinction of having, without a doubt, the highest kill count of any Disney princess by several digits. She is not messing around. Good for her. You gotta love her. She under helpful. She gets a 9. She gets a 9. And I'm not going to even say worst enemy category. I'm saying she did what she did for the sake of her family, for the sake of her people. There was nothing selfish. Now, she maybe was looking for a way to get out of her little... Oh, my! I thought that was going in. To get out of the situation of like, oh, I have to be trained to be a little wifey. You know, she wasn't looking for that. She wanted a different life. And this presented itself and she took advantage. But it's also, I'm sure she would have found a different way. If they weren't at war, she would have done something else. But she did this instead. And she was trying to protect her father, trying to help her people. You got to love it. And throughout the movie, she proves that she is one tough mama jamma. Did I say that? I'm sorry. I wish I hadn't. Oh, crying out loud. No! It was so close. It was so close. So she trains with all the men. She learns to fight and becomes, a very reliable soldier. And even after they find out that she's a woman, she continues to be reliable. A reliable... I hate this game so much. She continues to be reliable and trustworthy. So as a role model, Mulan gets an 8. It's hard to fault her for anything she did, but, she gets an 8. And the movie, sorry, it only got a 6 from me. I like Mulan, but the movie, it's not one that I feel like I need to go back and, I overdid it. Oh, boy. Boy, oh boy. I'm sorry. I'm fine. Emotionally, no. But physically, I'll be all right. Anyway, so Mulan gets a 23. She's only one ahead of Jasmine, but she's still in the lead. All right, Rapunzel. I loved Tangled. I loved this movie. Tangled, Rapunzel gets a 9 for being helpful. Because, she asked, she tried, she went through the proper channels. She was trying to be a dutiful daughter, but her mother was just unreasonable and, evil. But her mother just wasn't listening. Her mother was, not really her mother. But Rapunzel tried. And then fate, flapjacks, fate delivered into her hands, into her very house, exactly the person she needed. Someone who knew the ways of the world and who she could blackmail. So she, and honestly, that's a bold move. She blackmailed a criminal and she knew 100% what she was doing. And, she knew it was risky, but she did it anyway. And, get out of the thing. There we go. And she, she made friends along the way. I'm going to tell you, this is all blending together, but the best song, I think my favorite Disney song of all time is the, I've Got a... Why? Why can I not hit that little bit right there? Why is it so freaking hard? I've Got a Dream. When they go into the Snuggly Duckling and they sing with all the mercenaries, I love that scene so much. That song is great. The scene's hilarious. It's just amazing and wonderful. And in the end, it comes back and they all, like, they're all her friends and they all help her. And it's just great. It's a great movie. And come on. And it sets a great example. She sets a wonderful example. She's a terrific role model. You know, she doesn't hate her life. She just wants this one thing. She wants this one thing. And in order to get it, she's got to do some new things. She's got to learn some things and be brave and be bold. So she steps out of her comfort zone and she meets some friends and she influences them and impacts them and draws people to her. And she takes an interest in people. And it's, one thing that Rapunzel has taught us is that if you want to be liked, it's not about being liked. It's about liking. And that is the truth. If you want people to like you, the best way to do that is to like them. And I found that as a bus driver, if you want kids to be supportive and respectful, they need to know that you support and respect them. Jeez, I am doing such a good job here. So Rapunzel teaches us that in The Snuggly Duckling, that just because somebody is scary and slobbery and gross, i.e. teenagers, just, they're likable. And all in all, Rapunzel as a role model gets an 8. And the movie, I'm giving it a 10. Tangled is such a terrific Disney movie. You might hear my tum-tum rumb. Oh my gosh. Only took me 123 strokes. Good grief. So Rapunzel, your movie, Tangled, gets a 10, and you, my darling, get a 27. You are in the lead with a bullet. Okay. Let's move on to Merida from Brave, the movie Brave. I loved this movie. I loved this movie a lot. By the way, this list is not in any particular order. I just wrote down. There was a list online, and I just was like, "Yep, these are the 10." I did leave a few out, and I'll talk about those very briefly in just a moment. But Merida is terrific. Yes, she is. She is a victim of her culture and the traditions. However, she doesn't put up with it for very long. She makes a mockery of this idea that her hand is to be won by some idiot just because he can shoot an arrow or swing a sword or throw a spear. She's not interested in that. She wants to be able to pick her own husband or no husband. She's not interested in a husband. Leave her alone. But, their culture and their traditions and blah, blah, blah. And her mother is really pushing for it. And so, she's butting heads with her mother. So what does she do? She goes and she buys a magic potion from a witch to turn her mother into a bear. She doesn't know that's what she's doing. She doesn't realize that's what the potion is going to do. But she does anyway. I love that. I love, it is such a human thing to do, to say, you know what, this is unreasonable, but so is my situation, so this solution works. I love it. And not only does she, she's responsible for the situation, she is responsible for the solution. She doesn't turn to anyone else and say, I'm in over my head. No, she's like, I'm sorry, I made a mess of this, and I'm going to fix it. And the whole time, she's dealing with her regret. She's dealing with remorse. She's dealing with the potential grief. She sees failure on the horizon. She sees that she is, I thought this was going to fall a little shorter. Anyway, she sees that she is about to fail, that she's about to lose her mother. And so she is fighting with grief for a thing that hasn't even happened yet. And that grief, that kind of grief, that inevitable grief, is almost crippling, but she has to push through it. And she is not helpless at all. She gets a 9. And as a role model for all of those things she did, she gets a 9. And that movie gets a 9. I love that movie. That's a terrific movie. It almost got a 10. But it gets a 9. So, Merida, you are now tied with Rapunzel for 27 points. Okay, and the last one is Moana. You guys, listen. Are you listening? I haven't seen Moana. I've seen bits and pieces. I've seen enough to know that Moana is the driving force behind everything. She is not a victim. She is not a damsel. She sees an issue. She sees a situation, and she knows that she has to take care of it, or somebody has to, and she's the only one willing. And so, the music in it's amazing. Her drive is amazing. It's so good. It's such a terrific movie. What I've seen of it. So yeah, because she, okay, sure, she's got Maui helping her. She's, got some supernatural help, but I get the feeling, now he needed coaxing. He needed to basically be cajoled into helping her. Oh, flip. And so he's not like a fairy godmother appearing and being like, yes, my dear, I'm here to help you. No, he's like, but he has to be like a wild stallion kind of thing. He has to be broken, and he has to be, trained, and he has to be brought online in order to help her. And she does all this stuff. She convinces him through all of her means to help, even though he doesn't want to. So she gets a 9 for help, and as a role model, yeah, I'm gonna give her a 10 as a role model. Get out there, see the world, live your life, do what you know needs to be done, even though people are trying to stop you. People are trying to prevent you. Even though the world seems like it is it's throwing everything it has at you. Get out there and do what you know needs to be done. Don't give up. So, as a role model, she gets a 10. And the movie, even though I haven't seen it, what I have seen, it gets a 9. The music, the music in it's amazing. It gets in my head all the time. And it's just, yeah, so, and it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful story. And I'm afraid of water. I've mentioned that. And this movie is all about water. So, that's how I felt about Waterworld also, by the way. So it gets a 9. And that puts Moana at a 28. She is that would have been nice. She gets a total of 28, making her the highest ranked Disney princess. Congratulations, Moana. You've earned it. Now, people are going to say, what about Tiana? Well, I haven't seen that one, and I know nothing about that movie. I know nothing about The Princess and the Frog. What about Anna and Elsa? I know plenty about Frozen, and yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Frozen that is nice. I didn't like it. It's not great. Anna and Elsa, just sorry. Elsa ran off and left her kingdom to struggle on its own, and Anna went off to find her sister because she didn't want to take over for her. And well, she loved her sister, and so I just have a lot to say about him. I don't know. It just wasn't. I didn't care enough to put him on the list, you guys. So anyway, here's the list. We ready? Moana, number 1. Merida and Rapunzel, they're tied. And then we've got Mulan, and then just below Mulan, Jasmine and Belle. And then Cinderella, she gets a nice little 11. And then with 10 points each, Snow White and Ariel, although how in the world did Ariel not end up bottom of the barrel? I don't know. And then all the way down at the bottom is Sleepy Aurora with 6 points. Lame. So if you combine Aurora and Jasmine, you got a Moana. That seems a little, whatever. So I do want to, I didn't talk about Princess Leia either, because technically she's a Disney princess, but I'll bring her up in another video. Anyway, I'm not going to do my whole hole-in-one thing. I'm not going to wait around for that. I'm just going to let this one speak for itself. Might not have to wait around for a hole-in-one. This could be painful enough. So yeah, I know I already talked about Disney, and I talk about Disney princesses and blah 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 blah. But I like to analyze things. I like to analyze characters and storylines and movies. I love movies. I love stories. So these are the things I like to talk about. Mostly I just like to talk, but I like it more when I have something to talk about. A direction. Come on, get over the thing. Oh, this isn't it. Good grief. How are we here? How did we find ourselves here? Oh boy. Should I just end the video on this one? Should I just end it now? No, because I still have things to say. I've noticed that there have been a few people watching my videos, mostly my Brandon Sanderson videos. Apparently there's just not enough Brandon Sanderson content on YouTube. And so maybe I'll talk more about him in the future. I know I will. I can't stop talking about him. But what other things would you like to discuss? What other videos, what other content do you guys enjoy? Do you appreciate? Let me know. Because I appreciate you guys, and I want to make sure I'm giving you something that appeals to you. So let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does mean a lot to me to know that you guys are watching the videos. And I'm going to start on this hole in the next video. So come back and see how I do. I'm sure I'll do great. All right, I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.